And what up, you guys? Welcome back to Furrow Publications YouTube channel. It's me, Rich. Daily uploads till I open up my own shop. And today I started by packing some orders. I threw down on some envelopes. Definitely dig the envelope art. I definitely have been having fun with it. And I think it's a good way of just practicing my character designs. Beyond that, I had to get more envelopes because I got a few more orders to ship out and I ran out. I used to get those from Uline, but for obvious reasons, I'm not fucking with Uline anymore. So if you guys have a good place to get bulk envelopes, go ahead and put it in the comments, homie. Plug your homie in. If not, I'm gonna keep buying these onesie, twosies packs and just keep doing that, Today I want to talk about Microcosm Publishing. Boom, here in the Yeasty Girls, remember, and they mentioned it here, Joe Beal in a drafty bedroom was determined to be Publisher Weekly's fastest growing publisher of 2022 and number 3 in 2023 and 24, and is now among the oldest independent publishing houses in Portland, Oregon. And one of the things that this made me think of, at the time when I opened it up, it was just my natural reaction. But upon thinking about it, I remember reading about Microcosm Publishing and benchmarking myself against it. And they were the first ones that I heard about that had a distribution deal for their zines, and they are very nice, well done. And I can see now how they're able to get the distribution, and it's because of the ISBN. And so that is very cool, and I definitely enjoy it. But I actually have this article that I printed in 2024 from Publisher Weekly, which has the fastest growing independent publishers, which is kind of the research and the homework that I've been doing because I've been chewing this kind of stuff over for a while. So I want to read out all of them, but ultimately I do want to read what Publisher Weekly had to say about Microcosm Publishing. All right, so we have Mad Cave Studios, which does graphic novels. They did have a deal with Diamond Distribution as well as Lunar Distribution. So hope they're doing well still in the comic book sector. You got Spiegel and Guar, right? Indie Next Picks, straight up lit. And what I like is that they show you how much they grew, right? So Mad Cave Studios grew by 477%. Spiegel and Guar by 292%. Tokyo Pop, which I met quite a bit of people from Tokyo Pop at different Comic Cons, so definitely very cool to see them in here, but they grew by 173%, and that's pretty damn solid, I think. You got Forefront Books, right? It grew by 98%. Divergent Publishing grew by 45%. Microcosm Publishing grew by 35%. Media Lab Books, right? New series and new partnerships, increased numbers of products, right? Grew by 11%. And Rocky Nook, types of books we make, topics we cover. We have diversified what they make, right? Price points, formats. That's kind of the information that I was pulling into, right? That a lot of them look like they diversified what they do make, right? And that's why the book binding, for me, I think is going to just help me elevate and reach another level. But this is what Publisher Weekly had to say about Microcosm Publishing. After Microcosm saw sales climb 152% in 2022 over 2020, founder Joe Beal realized the company couldn't maintain the pace without putting a strain on cash flow. Since it left PGW and took over its own distribution in 2018, Beal has been careful to balance cash flow and growth to keep the publisher on sound financial ground. He says he chose to focus on stabilizing operations in 2023 when Microcosm still posted a 35% increase in revenue over 2022. Beal didn't sit still though, buying a third warehouse and rebuilding back office systems to accommodate the demands of a company that quintupled its sales over the past 4 years. Last year also saw Microcosm focus on preparing to offer its Working Lit software to other indie publishers. Working Lit, which Microcosm has used for a number of years, allows publishers to streamline product databases, manage orders, complete accounting and invoicing tasks, and calculate royalties. An official rollout of Working Lit began earlier this year. In terms of book sales in 2023, Microcosm saw solid success with its Unfucked series, with 4 of its top 10 bestsellers coming from that line. According to Beal, including his top 2 sellers, Unfuck Your Brain and Unfuck Your Boundaries, and How to Resist Amazon continue to be a solid seller, finishing 5th on Microcosm's bestsellers list. there's a lot to unpack there. First of all, to Joe Beal, they definitely make him sound like a very smart operator. And what I was doing with a lot of this research was like finding kind of things that I wanted to adopt as well as incorporate into Feral Publication. But even beyond that, just benchmarking against other companies. And that's when I started thinking about like ISBNs and things like that, because what Publisher Weekly uses in order to understand who's selling what is the ISBNs. But again, the ISBNs, they do pose a bit of a problem, right? And definitely something to be considered whether or not that's something that we're going to want to do moving forward. But that's one thing. The other thing that I thought was really cool is that Microcosm Publishing is so innovative. They create their own software, which is that working lit, right? So that's their software as a service kind of thing that they're rolling out. I thought that's super cool, right? The other thing that really is cool about Microcosm Publishing, according to this, is that they were using a distributor, and then they were able to basically subvert that, and now they're their own distributor. And it's one of those things of like, sometimes I wonder how much you have to work within the system to be able to completely subvert the system. Who knows? I think I will continue to work outside the system, but nonetheless, Microcosm Publishing, very fucking cool thing. And it's one of those things that as you get deeper into anything, you start to realize that it's not such a big square, right? Like we all start kind of like inhabiting the same kind of systems. And it doesn't surprise me at all that I've heard of Microcosm Publishing is a company that I was benchmarking it myself against. And then you look over here, and then like Colin sends me 2 zines from his collection of ultimately the zines that has been published through Microcosm Publishing. I can't wait to read these and review these on the channel, because like I said, I'm very amped at the quality that this looks to be. The writing has been hella good and funny. I was listening to the Buzzcocks as I was reading some of this. Hella well written. And like I said, anything that has to do with like us documenting the history that we view as important, not necessarily what mainstream people think is important, I think it's really fucking cool. Like, you know, these bands, right, they left an impact, and they created, you know, a sense of community, and that community needs to basically talk about that history and document their own history, and that's what this is. So definitely really down with these zines, and definitely down with Microcosm Publishing. So can't wait to peep this out, and even further really look into Microcosm. Like I even wonder what the UX design is on their website, and how does that look like, and what are the titles that they're publishing, and like what is the attitude and branding of the company. It all seems very interesting to me. So really glad to have gotten these from Colin. Colin, I can't thank you enough, man. Thank you so much for saying this to me. And like I said, definitely a very cool publisher to peep out. But alright, you guys, that's all I got for you guys today, man. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Hit the link if you guys want to cop some of the stuff that I make. And I do this daily, so I'll be back tomorrow. Lates.